Hi, hello. In this lesson, we will learn how to properly read a certificate of land title, which is this one, and a sketch plan. Now, these two documents are essential when dealing with property ownership, land transactions, and building construction in the Philippines. This is an example of a sketch plan, and here are some more. These are all just taken from free websites since I can't show you my client's information. The sketch plan provides a visual representation of the land, including its measurements, boundaries, orientation, and relation to its surrounding lots or landmarks. So it basically shows the form of the lot derived from the technical description. So let's go over this file first. Again, these are your points, and this is the information regarding the lot. This is the technical description. Now it basically shows you where the road is attached, like on what boundaries, so on and so forth. And it even gives you the lot area. Okay. So what is the use of a sketch plan? You need this when applying for a building permit. You also need this before you can start planning your house or building design. In fact, before you begin working on floor plans or a site development plan, you must first establish the form and boundaries of your lot. Normally, the property owner or your client will provide a sketch plan. If it's unavailable, you can procure your sketch plan from your local government unit or your LGU, specifically from the municipality or city engineer's office or the assessor's office. Another option is to have it prepared directly by a licensed geodetic engineer through a land survey. Okay. However, if you're not the landowner, you will need an authorization letter from the property owner first or your client before you can request these documents because they'd never normally give it to you if you just go there directly and request for it. In most cases, if you're hired as the architect or the planner, then it becomes part of your responsibility to coordinate with the owner to secure the sketch plan. This ensures that your design is based on accurate land boundaries and measurements. Having this document early in the design process prevents costly errors and avoids disputes about property lines later on. Now let's assume that the sketch plan is unavailable. This is actually quite common. Like I can attest to this. So what do you do? Most of the time, the owner will just hand you a copy of their certificate of land title or CTC or certificate of transfer title. Now, even if a sketch plan is not available, you can still plot the lot by carefully reading the technical description written in the title. So I've already omitted the important information of this CTC. Like I've covered it for the most part. Now, here's an example. This is one of the most common types of land titles, by the way. It's really usually the TCT. Now, let's cover the common parts of your certificate of land title. First, you have the title number. It identifies the property in the registry of deeds. And then you have the name of the registered owner. You can actually find that here. And then you have the lot and survey number, encumbrances and annotations, and then the area of the lot, which is around here. And the most important part is actually this part. This is your technical description, which contains the bearings, distances, and boundaries, which we will cover later on. Now, from this, we can now recreate the lot sketch, which is why this section is the most important part of the title as planners or designers. Okay, so the technical description. This section contains bearings, distances. So these are your bearings. 49 south, 49 degrees, 35 minutes west, and then the distance 27.99 meters, and then you have your point. So that's from point 1 to 2, and then you have point 2 to 3, so on and so forth. Now, this section of the TCT also indicates the road, creek, or adjacent lots. Like here, along lines 3, 4 by road lot. So it's important to highlight these parts as well. Now, to make it easier to interpret and plot the lot, we will convert the technical description into a table format. Now, you can do this manually or using your Excel. So it's just easier for us to do this in CAD later on or to manually plot it. Okay, so get whatever program you want to use. This might take a while. Now, to make it easier for us to plot the lot, let's turn this into a table format. So again, these are your bearings, these are your distances, and don't forget about the points. So more discussion on bearings later on once we start plotting the technical description, maybe on another video. Okay, so first let's start with point 1 to 2. Okay, wait a minute. I might speed this up. And then south 49 degrees 35 minutes east. And then with the distance of 27.99 meters. Okay, so this will do. Let's just make it really simple. So I'm gonna make this really quick or maybe fast forward it, but yeah. So again, let me just explain. You have the points here, and then you have the degrees. You have to include the minutes, especially when plotting in using AutoCAD, and then the distance. Okay? Okay. So this is the rough table. Always double check for instances like this where you see a 07, always add a dot before the 0. So like this one, 0.07 minutes east. Again, let me read one for you under bearing. This means south 49 degrees, D is for degrees, 35 minutes east. This will be discussed on a later video, how to plot this using AutoCAD and manually using your protractor. Okay, now let's read this part of your land title. Okay, so on the southwest, along line 3-4 by road lot. So let's look for 3-4. Let's type here road lot, road lot. And along line 4-5, Malabanyas Road. Okay. 4-5 Malabanyas Road. So that's here. Road. Okay, this should be enough. And always indicate the total lot area, which is 589. And let's just use a hypothetical lot title because this is, after all, an official document. So let's just say lot AAA, and then you indicate that it's 589 SQM, square meters. Okay, so this is all you'll need. This is your table format of the technical description taken from your land title certificate. Okay, now again, we can now plot this manually or using CAD digitally. Okay, so that's for another video.